The sky was dark, heavy clouds rolling endlessly, and rain poured down like heaven itself was mourning. On this dreadful day, Chu Ziyao's world collapsed before her eyes. She stood frozen, her heart pounding, as the man she loved, the one she had trusted above all else, delivered her father's severed head. The cruel words still rang in her ears. This is what he deserved, for supporting my seventh brother and trying to destroy my plans. That man was Sikong Shengyu. The man she had sacrificed everything for. The man for whom she betrayed her family and helped seize the throne. And yet, the moment he became emperor, he turned on her without hesitation. Her father, the great General Chu, a pillar of the empire, was slain so Shengyu could seize his armies. Her mother disappeared soon after, vanishing into silence and grief. And the cruelest wound of all, Sikong Shengyu, her beloved, had been secretly betraying her with her own sister. But Chu Xiu was not her true sister. She was once a starving beggar child, picked up from the streets by Ziyao's kind parents. They treated her as their own flesh and blood, gave her shelter, warmth, and love. Never could they have imagined that the child they raised would one day repay them with betrayal. From her golden seat as empress, Chu Xiu looked down upon Ziyao with scorn, her words like venom. Did you really think His Majesty ever loved you? You were nothing but a pawn. He needed father's military power, nothing more. You are useless now. Her laughter echoed cruelly as guards seized Ziyao, dragging her mercilessly across the snow. The order was chilling. She was to be thrown to the soldiers, reduced to nothing more than their plaything. The humiliation would strip away even the last fragments of her dignity. Blood filled her mouth as she struggled against them, her body bruised, her pride shattered. She could not allow this. She would never let them have the pleasure of breaking her. So, summoning the last of her strength, she bit through her own tongue. Agony lanced through her, but she welcomed it. As her vision dimmed and her lifeblood spilled onto the snow, her final vow burned like fire. If there is an afterlife, I will return. I will repay every debt. I will take my revenge. When she opened her eyes again, everything was different. Gone was the freezing snow. Gone was the stench of blood. Instead, she awoke beneath silk curtains, lying in a soft, warm bed. For a moment, she thought it was a dream. But then, a familiar figure entered. It was Winter, her loyal servant. She smiled gently and said, "My lady, it is time to prepare. Today is your wedding with Prince Yu, His Highness Sikong Shengyu." Ziyao froze. Her heart skipped a beat. This moment, this day, it was the very beginning. She had returned, reborn at the exact point before her marriage to the man who destroyed her. Tears welled in her eyes, not from sorrow, but from relief and determination. Heaven had granted her another chance. This time, she would not walk into ruin blindly. She ordered Winter to prepare her with utmost care. Today would not be her doom, it would be her rebirth. Golden ornaments adorned her hair, glimmering like flames in the candlelight. A magnificent red wedding dress, embroidered with a soaring phoenix, wrapped around her slender figure, contrasting perfectly with her pearl-like skin. Her beauty that day was unmatched, regal and commanding, as though heaven itself acknowledged her will. Winter could not help but marvel at her mistress's transformation. But Ziyao's eyes were hard as steel. In this life, she whispered, her voice low but firm, debts of love and hatred must be paid in full. The wedding procession began. Carriages rolled through the streets as drums thundered, announcing the union to the city. Inside the sedan, Chu Ziyao peered through the window. There he was, Sikong Shengyu, the man who had once bewitched her with gentle words and false promises. The man who had deceived her so completely. She clenched her fists. How foolish she had been. At the temple, she stumbled on a step. She braced herself for pain, but instead of striking the ground, she fell into something firm yet soft. Looking up, she realized she had landed in the lap of a man seated in a wheelchair. It was the seventh prince, Sikong Jin. Though she had never met him before, his legend was known throughout the empire. He had entered the battlefield at 7, become a vanguard at 10, and risen to the rank of general by 15. But fate was cruel. During a brutal war, his legs were irreparably injured. Now he could no longer walk, reduced to a cripple in the eyes of the court. Ziyao quickly apologized and was pulled away by Shengyu. But the moment he touched her hand, something strange happened. A wave of thoughts not her own surged into her mind. She could hear his inner voice. Once I marry her, my plan will be complete. With her father's troops in my grasp, nothing will stand in my way. Her breath caught. So it was true. He never loved her. She had been nothing more than a pawn. With a sudden surge of strength, she pulled her hand away. What's wrong, Ziyao? Shengyu asked, his voice smooth, but his eyes flashing with irritation. Her answer silenced the temple. I cannot continue. This marriage is cancelled. Gasps echoed all around. A bride refusing the groom before heaven and earth, it was unthinkable. Shengyu's face twisted. He tried to change her mind, but Ziyao stood firm. They were not yet wed. She had the right to refuse. At that moment, General Chu arrived. Ziyao's eyes overflowed with tears as she saw him alive, whole, not the severed head wrapped in white cloth from her past life. She threw herself into his arms. Father, I will listen to you this time. I will not marry him. General Chu was stunned. His once meek, obedient daughter had even attempted suicide in the past to secure this marriage. But now she rejected it with unwavering resolve. Though surprised, he did not hesitate. If she wished to end this marriage, then he would gladly take her home. Shengyu's pride was shattered before the entire court. Rage boiled in his heart. Chu Ziyao, you will regret this humiliation. But her return to the general's manor was not without trials. There, Grand Madame Lu awaited her. She was not of noble birth, but once a prostitute who had somehow married into the Chu household. By fortune and circumstance, she bore a son and, after the death of the first wife, rose to become the Grand Madame of the Chu family. Now, with venom in her voice, she demanded Ziyao kneel for the shame she had brought upon the family. But Ziyao, reborn and unyielding, lifted her chin. This is my father's house. You have no power to order me around. Not you, and not Chu Shiyu either. The hall fell silent at her words. Madame Lu trembled with rage, nearly ready to strike back. But before she could speak, Winter rushed in with urgent news. The emperor had summoned Ziyao to the palace. As Ziyao left, Chu Ziyu's eyes narrowed, doubt flickering within them. Did she discover our plan with Prince Yu? The royal courtyard was heavy with tension. Ziyao and her father knelt before the emperor, who glared down at them, his fury undisguised. How do you intend to restore the royal family's honor after today's disgrace? He demanded, his voice like thunder. General Chu bowed deeply, desperate to shield his daughter. Your Majesty, my daughter is mentally unwell. Please grant her mercy. Ziyao's heart clenched. Her father was sacrificing her dignity to protect her. But even this explanation failed to appease the emperor's wrath. The shame brought upon the royal family demanded a solution. Then, as if heaven itself had arranged it, the emperor's gaze turned cold. Since your daughter is unfit, and my crippled son is unworthy, their marriage shall be blessed by heaven. The weak shall balance the weak. His decree was final. An imperial edict was drafted on the spot. Chu Ziyao, the disgraced daughter of General Chu, would be wed to Sikong Jin, the crippled seventh prince.